So we're back with Joey Pigza, Loses Control. We're on Chapter 3, Storybook Land. We read the first section, which took me about 14 minutes. So now we're on Part 2 of Chapter 3. There it is, I said, and pointed at the picture booth. We went over, and I sat on the big mother goose, and Dad put his face into the cutout head of the Jack of Hearts. The photographer took 2 pictures, one for me and one for him. Better get one for your mom, too, he reasoned, so she won't think I got you hanging by your thumbs down in the basement. I thought that was a good idea. And when the photographer said, "Smile," I thought of Mom and got a big lip-curling grin on my face. "Okay," Dad said, slipping the photos into his top pocket. "Let's hurry up. There are a few more important story spots I need you to see." "What about the bumper cars?" I asked. "In a minute," he said. This next thing is important." We walked down to the crooked house, and right away Dad bent over to one side and began to play as if he was all crooked. "This is me," he said with a wavering voice. "All crooked." Then he straightened up like a soldier at attention. "And this is me now. You get it? There once was a crooked man who lived in a crooked house. He had a crooked dog." When he said dog, the breath went out of me like I had drowned on land. "Oh my God," I shouted, then sucked in some air. I left Pablo in the glove box. "Who's Pablo?" he asked. "My Chihuahua." I cried out with my feet hopping up and down. "I have to call Mom. Where's a phone?" I looked around like there might be a little crooked phone in a crooked man's house. "Well, why is he in the glove box?" "Because he got carsick on the radio," I said, and took off running down the path to where I had seen the log cabin and a pay phone. By the time Dad caught up to me, I had the money in the envelope ripped out, quarters popping them in the phone slot. I didn't know how much money it would take, so I figured putting it all in was good. "She probably hasn't made it back yet," Dad said as he took the phone from my hand and hung up. All the money came shooting out of the change return and went rolling across the floor. "I have to go home," I said as I scrambled for the coins. "What if Pablo is stuck in the glove box when Mom returns the car and Pablo is trapped in there and dies like those kids trapped in car trunks?" "Joey," Dad said, "don't turn into a Humpty Dumpty. You have to tough it out, buddy. Everything is going to be all right. Why, I bet your mom found Pablo after a while and turned around and brought him back. I bet he's on the front porch right now, waiting for you. Let's go see. I said nervously. "Let's go now." Dad took my hand and we went running towards the miniature golf course. Grandma was sitting on a small brown and white polka dot mushroom seat with her golf clubs across her knees. "I'm just taking a breather," she whispered harshly. "We have to go home," Dad said, and reached for her elbow to get her on her feet and going. "Joey lost his Chihuahua." "What Chihuahua?" she asked. "Nobody told me a fancy rat dog was a part of this deal." Dad didn't say anything. Instead, he scooped her up into his arms. I was already heading for the car, and I wished I had the keys because I'd start it and take off looking for Mom and Pablo. All the way back to the house, Granny said mean things about my fancy Mexican rat dog. "He's half Chihuahua and half Dachshund," I said. "Half rat, half wiener, you mean?" She snorted back. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore and said, "You be quiet." "No, you be quiet," she said back. "No, you be quiet," I said again. "No, you be quiet," she wheezed. We kept this up until we pulled into the driveway, and I jumped out, and there was Pablo on the porch, shivering, with the handle of his leash fastened around the front doorknob. Mom had written, "Miss you already," in lipstick on the little diamond-shaped window. I grabbed Pablo and kissed him all over his pointy face, and he kissed me back with his awful dog puke breath. But I didn't care. I loved him, and he loved me, and that's all that mattered. "See?" Dad said, coming up from behind me. I was right, wasn't I? He was. I set Pablo down and threw my arms around Dad's neck and just hugged him as tightly as I could because he was totally right and didn't turn into a busted up Humpty Dumpty when I had. How did you know he'd be there? I said. Hey, what are dads for? He replied all jolly and hoisted me up over his shoulders like a sack of flour. And we entered the house while Grandma and Pablo growled at each other. I figured they were going to have a heck of a time because neither of them ever backed down from anyone or anything. Hey, Dad, I said while I had the chance, I want to play baseball. That's my boy, he said, a chip off the old block. Then he kept talking, and I stopped listening.